precipitation patterns changed in recent times? Discuss its impact on India. So this could be maybe a 20-mark question, a longer question. So try writing this in about 3 pages. Now, before we discuss this one, all of you, do you know what is the global precipitation pattern? Okay, so I can discuss global precipitation patterns in 3 ways. One is in terms of latitudes, one is in terms of the natural biomes and climatic regions, and one in terms of the forms and the types of precipitation. If I go by latitude, just know some things. Don't have to do detail nahi karna hai isme. Just know this, there is one pattern given by this man called Patterson. Patterson has identified 16 precipitation regions. We have equatorial regions within 5 to 10 degrees north and south of equator. Second is the low latitudes, the low tropics, it's around 10 to 20 degrees. This is an area of moderate rains. This is the area of very heavy rains. 3 is areas of subtropics. ये approximately around 30-35 degrees के range में है. These are the deserts. We have the low mid latitudes. These are largely semi-arid. Low mid latitudes about 35-45 degree north and south. Then we have 5. We have the high mid latitudes. We're talking about 50-55 degrees till 65 degrees. These are areas of good rains, okay, and rains throughout the year. 6th is the subpolar and polar. Okay, this is beyond 70-75 degrees. These are cold deserts, permafrost and tundra regions. Okay, so broadly, ye yaad rakho. Okay, now you come in terms of the natural biomes and climatic zones. इसमें आपको 6-7 याद रखना है. What is happening in equatorial type? What is happening in savanna type? What is tropical monsoons, Mediterranean, deserts, grasslands like steppes, taiga, tundra. And of course, you can talk about the Arctic and the polar. Okay? So can you tell me equatorial type of climate? Very heavy rains, semi-arid regions. Tropical monsoon is again the wetter types in India. Rainfall of more than 118 centimeters per year. Mediterranean comes under semi-arid. Deserts, you know, both tropical deserts, mid-latitude deserts, grassland steppes, this again are semi-arid. Semi-arid regions mein rainfall generally is around less than 70-80 centimeters. Deserts mein the rainfall is less than 30-40 centimeters. Tropical monsoon mein, in case of India, it is on average around 115-118 centimeters. So Indian type of monsoon is relatively wetter type. Savanna again will have rainfall of less than 70, less than 80 centimeters of rain. Okay, taiga regions has rainfall of approximately around 80 to 100 centimeters of rain, but very low evapotranspiration. Tundra regions may again, the precipitation is snowfall and the rains are less than 60 centimeters in totality, if you add up here. Or Arctic polar regions, these are the areas of cold deserts. So I don't intend to discuss all of them because we're asking you about the pattern of precipitation. Okay, and in terms of forms and types, you'll talk in terms of orographic, kahan par hai, where do we have cyclonic, where do we have frontal, where do we have convectional rainfall. ठीक है, so orographic rainfall example दे देना दो तीन. इंडिया में orographic है, Andes mountains orographic, Rockies mountains orographic, cyclone give example, frontal give example. I think you can do this. ठीक है, like I said, the objective of this discussion is that you know now what is the pattern of precipitation. लेकिन ये question में नहीं पूछा है. So through this question, I have discussed something. If asked, you can develop on this. Our question is, how has precipitation changed in recent times? Now listen, can you tell me names of some bodies or organizations, okay, who can predict this type of things or who have studied this? दो तीन नाम बताइए मुझे, let us see. IMO, WMO, इतना पता है. और कौन कर सकता है? नासा कर सकता है. एक NOAA, ठीक है, दिस कैन डू सो. यूएस का है, एटमॉस्फेरिक स्टडीज एंड ओशन एटमॉस्फेयर स्टडीज का कर सकते हैं. इसरो कैन डू दैट. So when you're talking about how has the precipitation changed, can we mention some organizations like this? According to NOAA, because of climate change in recent times, there will be massive changes in precipitation. आपको क्या लगता है, NOAA ये कहा होगा कि नहीं? What do you think? इतना इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, अगर वो नहीं भी कहा होगा, आपका बात सुन के बोलेगा कि हाँ मैंने तो कहा था पक्का. IPCC पक्का बोलेगा. Correct. And see, you're not wrong. This is not actually blatant bluffing. Okay. Yes, say 5th assessment, 6th assessment, 18th report, 15th report. कहो ना. Who says no? But it's a smart thing to do है. And you know, I can also think of कि I'm sure there must have been some modeling done. हुआ होगा, कोई modeling किया होगा, कोई model बनाया होगा. So can I mention, according to dynamic modeling studies of ISRO, studying the patterns of rainfall along the west and the east coast, okay, they have predicted that India's rainfall patterns will dramatically change in the next 30 years. क्या लगता है आपको? This is what we want in your answers. Get a bit smart. See, what I'm teaching you is that when you have a question around current affairs, when you have a question around these kind of discussions, be smart to use all of these type of names in your answers. You may not know the exact percentage, you may not know the exact figure, but jitna figure aapko pata hai, you can mention that much. You know the figures related to droughts, you know the figures related to floods. Okay, और बाकी आप अप्लाई करो. ठीक है, तो अभी वापस आते हैं. How have the precipitation patterns changed in recent times? Now see, I'm giving you a list of facts. आप इसको बना के लिखोगे. Okay, so we have introduction. So please mention, okay, जो आपको गाना देना है दे देना. NOAA बता देना. COP13 के बारे में बोल देना. IPCC report mention कर देना. Okay, World Meteorological Organization, International Meteorological Organization, ISRO, जो कहना कहो, 2-3 lines में tell us what has happened. Okay, that patterns are changing and so on. In the box that you can have, okay, so you could have maybe a hypothetical continent, okay, a rainfall pattern on a hypothetical continent. a hypothetical continent, I can use different colors if I want to use. So maybe this area is deserts. This area is areas of heavy rainfall. Okay, these areas are areas of moderate rainfall. Okay, then we have this areas of rainfall throughout the year, taiga region hai. I can have this as Mediterranean winter rainfall. यहाँ पे एक legend बना दो. Okay, these are areas of temperate monsoons. This is an area of continental deserts. Okay, so can you please have a pictorial depiction? So green becomes equatorial type of climate, rainfall throughout the year. So becomes something I've discussed earlier. You have this as deserts, okay, both tropical deserts and mid-latitude deserts. We have this as the Mediterranean region, the semi-arid regions. We can talk about this as taiga regions. Okay, we could add here tundra and permafrost. So एक pictorial depiction दिखा देना, the rainfall pattern on a hypothetical continent. हाँ, लेकिन ये क्वेश्चन का पहला पार्ट देखो ना, ये सेकंड पार्ट में इंडिया पूछा गया है. I am asking you, tell me the patterns changed in recent times. This is more of a global thing. Like this could be a diagram. I call diagram dekho. See how you can have a diagram. So you can talk about precipitation, interception storage, stem flow. We have the ground surface flow. We have got percolation. ये याद है आपको ये वाला? इसी में दिखा देना ना. Okay, you can show that disruption in precipitation. Okay, you can show this as seven boxes honge. 7 components that are affected. They're affected because of changing precipitation patterns. Okay, so you can have changes in evapotranspiration. You can have changes in the base flow. I hope you got the point here. So from what you know, usko aap modify karo na. You create your own diagram you want to show. And remember the theme is changing patterns of precipitation. So यहाँ पे लिख सकते हैं आप. Okay, precipitation changes because of climate change, related to global warming, related to changing moisture conditions, related to changing ocean salinity. All of this can impact precipitation changes. Okay, so now let's move on. What are the changes in the precipitation? So one, remember that for every 1 degree change in temperature, moisture content changes by 5 to 7%. ये कुछ facts लिख लो आप, it'll help you in the answers. According to predictions जो हैं, okay, by 2100, okay, the precipitation patterns at current levels of changes can affect more than 80% of the globe. The next one is, prediction says that rainier regions will get wetter and drier regions will get drier. But there is no convergence on the seasonality changes. Okay, if you look at seasons में कि कौन से season में क्या change होगा, that we are not very sure about. But in general, the prediction is the rainier regions will become wetter and the drier regions will become drier. Rainfall in equatorial regions, rainfall in mid-latitude taiga forests, rainfall of the monsoon lands. यहाँ पर the average rains will increase, and the increase will be more on the oceans. Land में क्या होगा? Because of land heating, the increase of precipitation may not be as high. Whereas Mediterranean regions, savanna belts, these will become more dry. Savanna regions can have increased desertification. Okay, then Arctic, subpolar and polar regions will have increased precipitation, both as snowfall and also rains. Now, 5 regions hain which can have severe droughts. एक है Chile, Argentina, Mexico, and Central America, Western Australia, Southern Africa, and parts of South Asia. These will have severe droughts where rains can fall by 30 to 40%. You can show this in terms of a diagram. आप ये दिखा सकते हो diagram में. Okay, or you can show a map how this will be impacted. ठीक है? Tropical areas will have mostly droughts with shorter seasons of rainfall. ठीक है? तो ये आपने लिस्टिंग करा दिया. इसका रीजन क्या है? Okay, what is the mechanism why it's happening? इसके mechanism में 4 regions हैं. One is deforestation. Okay, tropical areas में deforestation can reduce the moisture levels. Second is mid latitudes में the weakening of the polar vortex, and talk about omega blocking. Then we have intensification of ENSO cycles. ये ENSO cycles के वजह से we will have Australian droughts. And we will also have sharper shifts of global pressure belts. And this impacts Mediterranean regions, impacts tropical lands. What is the mechanism? Why is this happening? This is where you have the analysis. Or deforestation may, you can always talk in the context of Brazil rainforests. Deforestation may, you can talk about deforestation of India's northeastern hills and western Ghats ke hills mein. We have deforestation. Intensification of ENSO cycles, you know the years that we have had. Polar vortex, ये आपको मैंने last time पढ़ा दिया था. ठीक है? So this is more or less the answer of the first half. Remember, answer का 2 part है. What is the pattern of disruption? And second is, how does it impact India? So impact in India, say monsoons impacted, onset, breaks, tropical cyclones and extreme events, cloud bursts, breaks leading to droughts, onset में जो variations हैं. I think you know about, again, flash droughts that happen for a short time, suddenly, and very intense. We call these as flash droughts. ठीक है? Shift of pressure belts, yes. And cloud bursts. Cloud bursts, again, flash floods, urban floods, and all of this disasters हैं agriculture impact, urban floods, and so on. Okay, so the consequence on India, this should be the later part of the answer. So this you can say is 1/3 of the answer. 2/3 of the answer has to be on how will the patterns of precipitation change in different parts of the world. You can also talk about urban climate. Urban climate, you have mentioned here. Okay, flash floods. I mentioned this. ठीक है?